Namaskar to all of you. I feel honored to be present on the same stage with such eminent people that I'm nervous to talk. Actually, I was very surprised that National Women's Parliament thought of me as worthy to give a talk. But before you guys change the mind, let me say what I have to say. Well, I'm not really a highly educated person, so I'm not going to give high funda stuff. Just simple heart-to-heart talk, few observations that I've had, that's all. Have you seen that bird which flies only on one wing? No? Have you seen that bird which flies only on male wing? Absurd, isn't it? Well, that's how absurd it is when society wants to thrive while promoting male interest and curbing a woman's interest. Let me quote Swami Vivekananda ji, who said, "There is no chance for the welfare of the world unless condition of women is improved, for it's not possible for a bird to fly only on one wing." Women empowerment, what does it actually mean? Well, to me it means the ability to control my life, to confidently make decisions for myself, to have ability to dreams, aspire and achieve goals, to live a full life the way life is meant to be lived. For me, that is empowering. Is it necessary to talk about it? Let's look into this matter. In a patriarchal society like ours, when a boy is born, there's so much of pride and there's so much of joy. Beta hua hai, beta hua is, we hear that with so much of pride and joy. Is it the same joy and pride when a girl child is born? Not really, right? I want to share my personal story. When I was born, my Nanaji, my mom's father, made a face. My mom was deeply hurt. She didn't speak to him for weeks. And when I got to know about this years later, I was deeply hurt too. That made me wonder why my birth did not give joy to my grandfather, my Nanaji. And I found a common thinking behind this, which is so common in everybody, that beta is a symbol of security and a breadwinner. हमारे बुढ़ापे का सहारा बनेगा, उसको कहते ना कि बुढ़ापे का लाठी हमारा वंश चलाएगा. Whereas the moment a girl is born, a sense of responsibility comes. Her safety and security becomes the prime most important thing for a parent, and the best way to ensure that is to get her married off. To me, it looks like shunning your responsibility from here to there. This thinking, what I feel, the thought behind is the culprit. We need to really work on this thinking more than anything else. When I was called for this talk, I had made certain slides because I wasn't sure, which is not available right now. But let's take a journey into a woman's problem from the time she's conceived in a mother's womb. A quick one though. Female infanticides. We know why sex determination test is banned. Child marriages. Now this is also very rampant in Nepal too, and I'm hoping to address this at the remote villages in Nepal coming months as a UNFPA Goodwill Ambassador. Almost 50% girls under the age of 18 are married. Lowest female literacy rate. Both India and Nepal featured lowest in female literacy. Dowry. I used to think things like problems like dowry is for the poor and uneducated. But no. I was appalled to know that this exists even in middle class, educated people, rich class, everywhere. Domestic violence, many crimes like assault, kidnap, rape, acid attack. When we hear so many stories on the news, it makes you wonder, are there not enough law? But of course we have law. But implementing those laws are the problems because of the loopholes. We must implement the law so that there is a fear of the law. We need to hear more stories that somebody does anything wrong to a woman who is punished by the law. We need to see more examples. Things like wage difference, you girls are young students, you're studying really hard, and you fly out with the flying colors, and you get into the job, you work really hard, and just because your friend who's a male, he works equally hard, he's equally talented, but because he's a man, he gets 25% more. Is that fair? As a Bollywood actress, I have to share something of my story too. There was a time when I was doing a lot of movies, I was at the top of my game. I was shocked to know my salary and the hero's salary the difference was huge. I thought I was important for the film. But when I saw that, I was so hurt and disappointed. I asked the producer, this makes me feel unwanted, this makes me feel small. If I'm not really wanted, then try making the film only with a male actor and see who sees the film. Which brings me down to the last point, but not the least, is political participation. We have almost 50% women voting, yet only 11% member of parliament are women. Imagine, if we have more women on decision-making chairs, on policy changing and making chairs, what kind of a parliament we will have, what kind of a government we will have. We need more women in our boardrooms, in our courtrooms, in our schools and university. What kind of a society we will be making? What kind of a nation we will be having? Imagine that. When I was called here, I asked a question to myself. What can I say that would add value to you all? You, this bunch of young, creative forces. I was of your age one day, not long back, some years back. I was young. When I saw double standard in our society, in my work area, it hurt me, disappointed me, it angered me. And then I became a rebel. Rebel without a cause was my title. That's how I reacted. And now I'm not saying that's the best way to be, that's the best way to react. Many years later, with a couple of wrong decisions, I know better now. I hope I'm a little wise now. In times of confusion, in times of disappointment, there is a better way to deal with that, and that is to stay inspired by great ladies this country has already produced. Some of them are already here on the stage. We've had Rani Lakshmi Bai, who knows as Jhansi Ki Rani. We have Ahilya Bai. We have We have female Prime Minister. So many women. We need to be inspired with them. You know, when it's there in our culture, in our history, in our genes, why not to take benefit from that? Let's remember them.